Welcome to the channel. I am Say Hi Paul, and welcome to this Warhammer 40,000 9th edition narrative battle. Today, the Iron Hands go up against the Genestealer Cults. Now, before I delve into all of the delicious narrative of this with you all, a few things to go through first, as regular viewers of the channel will be aware of, but those of you who are seeing for this for the first time may not know. So, I have a particular style with my battle reports. I low production values. These aren't slick. This is join me for a game in my garage, and it has all the associated rough edges and wobbly camera angles, and me randomly stopping to look up things in books without turning the camera off. I ramble somewhat. I ramble somewhat. See, got a list in my hand, I'm reading off it. I ramble somewhat. I will often go off at wild tangents, delving into either lore or the state of my carpet. And that's not a metaphor. I'm talking about the actual carpet. I mean, look at it. It's just terrible. I mean, there's a glove from when I was spraying the things with the thing in the outside. Sorry. Okay, you get the point. It's just so easily done. I'm like a butterfly. All my games have a very narrative focus, and they are also played against myself. I play both sides of, I will be playing both sides, certainly, of this game. Not all my games, but most of them to date. That's largely because of COVID, but it's kind of working for me, so I'm to at least a certain extent, I'm going to stick with it. And the final thing to make you aware of is, for narrative reasons, I have a number of house rules, which I will go through with you briefly before we start. If you're interested in knowing the rationale, there is another video in the library that explains. So I don't apply a plus or minus one limit to dice roll modifiers. I allow characters to charge with units. So if a character and a unit are in coherency with each other, and they're both going to charge the same target or targets, I make one dice roll, and they either both succeed or both fail. Then everything goes back to normal. I don't use command point rerolls. I don't limit the number of times a stratagem can be used per phase, and I don't pay reinforcement points for anything. That may come into it today with the Genestealer Cults. There are a few others, but they are unlikely to be an issue today. So, if that's not your bag, thank you for your interest thus far, but this probably isn't for you. Okay, you still there? Excellent. Right, so, what is the plot today? Well, an Iron Hands cruiser has suffered warp drive damage in the warp. The warp all of a sudden became incredibly turbulent, and out of nowhere, warp storms and warp flares buffeted the ship and did significant damage to the warp drive. So they have dropped out of the Immaterium. They dropped out of the Immaterium close to a planet called Basiant IV. And they have since determined that it will take a significant time, a number of weeks, to make the warp drives operational again. Whilst undergoing repairs, they receive a distress call from the nearby system of Basiant, specifically from the planet of Basiant IV, saying they are under attack by insurgents and aliens. From the descriptions in the message, the Iron Hands immediately infer Genestealer Cults. Now, normally, this is an issue that would be picked up by the Imperial Guard, and doubtless there are Imperial Guard regiments en route. However, given the Iron Hands are stuck here for a number of weeks, they may as well do some good. So they prepare a task force and move off under... now, Impulse is Star Trek. They head off in real space. Is there a term in 40k for just flying normally, not through hell? I'm sure there is, and I've just forgotten it, and I'll be kicking myself later for sounding really stupid. Anyway, that's what they're doing. So they're preparing a strike force to land on Basiant IV and deal with this cult uprising. Now, this game is the first in a miniature series of 3 games. Now, to be fair in advance, the other 2 games will be going up in the members lounge. They'll only be available for channel members. However, each of the games is a standalone game in its own right. You don't have to have watched you don't have to see the next ones for this to be complete and make sense. You don't have to have seen this one for the other ones to have made sense. So you certainly don't lose anything by only watching part 1. So the mission, using open war cards, the most fun way to play 9th edition 40k. So I drew these cards at random earlier. I already knew this sort of the scenario and the setting and so on, but I thought I'll be super random with the cards. And, oh man, it turned out fantastic. So, objective, we have drawn domination. This is the best one in the deck, in my opinion. In my humble opinion. That's a bold statement, isn't it? I've played it before and it's super fun. So, 6 objectives on the board. 1 by a barricade, 1 by a junction in this road, junction on that road, by the Admech Forge back there, this barricade that's on a junction, and by this Imperial statuary. Because the populace will want to protect the Imperial statue, and so do the insurgents. It's just that the statue does not have enough arms. Yes. So we have 4 objectives on the board, and at the end of each battle round, if you destroyed more enemy units than your opponent did of yours, you get a point. Obviously, that's mutually exclusive. You can only one side will get the point, or possibly neither if it's a tie, but only one side can get the point. And equally, if you hold more objectives than your opponent, you get a point. So board control and killing are equally important in this scenario. And if previous experiences are anything to go by, it makes for a really fun game, really tactical. And the choice about whether you go first or second's pretty significant, because, okay, if you go first, you get the turn 1 alpha punch, but being able to jump onto objectives second that your opponent hasn't taken, if you've got fast units, is super important. You know what you've got to deal with. You know your opponent has killed 2 units. You know that in your turn you've got to get 3. Whereas if you're going first, you've just got to try and get that tally up as high as you can with objectives and units, and then see if your opponent can beat it. So it's interesting. It's really interesting. Deployment-wise, we're using this kind of spearheady type thing, which is an extra 5 inches in each side and 5 and 6 inches back in each corner. So you can deploy far up in the centre, but further back at the edges, sort of concentrates the fight around the centre. How much of a deal this will make in this game, I'm not sure, because Genestealers don't tend to care too much about deployment zones. And then Warp Storm. I swear I drew this at random, but it made me smile. So the Immaterium is volatile at the moment. The effect of which is to add 1 to psychic tests and add 6 inches to the range of psychic powers. If the psyker suffers a perils, it takes 3 wounds rather than D3. So that's it. That's the scenario. Yeah, and I'm really hyped up for this. I don't know if you can tell. Let's go and look at the armies. So here we have roughly 1,000 points of Iron Hands of Clan Kaargul. And this may or may not be entered in the annals of the Imperium as a victory or a loss. Time will tell. However, it almost certainly will be entered in the annals of Clan Kaargul as a failure, as their tenants are heavily built around, irrespective of the scenario, the application of overwhelming, intense firepower. I think one of the previous captains was quoted as saying, "To witness the light going out of your opponent's eyes is testament to the fact that your strategy has failed." So many Orc players will be familiar with the notion that Orcs love to fight. So if you've had a fight, you've won. So Orcs always win. Sadly, Clan Kaargul, on the tabletop at least, from that perspective, tends to always lose. So, the narrative behind the army. A little bit of background first. The Iron Hands, their lore has changed a lot through the years in GW, and there's been retconning and so on. I use the version of the lore that's a couple of retcons back, in that each clan is effectively a chapter in its own right. It's company strength, but it's independent, it has its own independent armory, it trains its own recruits, it has its own veterans. And as such, it is structured in a way that reflects that. Whereas a normal chapter would have Terminators from the 1st Company, Scouts from the 10th, etc., etc. This is all Clan Company Kaargul, whether it's... come on, brain. I don't know what I was going to say there. This is all Clan Company Kaargul. So this represents a portion of the Clan Company. I mean, we've got circa 15, 20 Marines on the table, so that's roughly a fifth of Clan Kaargul. The novitiates, of course, not counting. The retconned version is the 1st Company is a clan, and that's where all the Terminators come from. I don't like that. I reject it. I reject it out of hand and wholeheartedly. I'm expecting you to retcon that back again, GW, when you do the new Iron Hand supplement, and be quick about it. But for now, in the real world where they haven't, this is the narrative that I use behind that. Now, Clan Company Kaargul maintains a vast number of tanks. That's part, it fits in with their ethos, their strategy of just annihilating things from range. They have huge numbers of whirlwinds, predators, hunters, and so on. You'll notice a distinct lack of those here. We are street fighting. There is a distinct lack of being able to do that. What we've got is fast, responsive units to be able to react to the Genestealers, and some stronger units to anchor certain points on the table. There will be other elements of Clan Kaargul who will be engaging on this planet also. The entire clan isn't here. This is only a part of Clan Kaargul, but it is nonetheless not the only. It doesn't represent all of the forces currently engaged. So, I'll tell you what everything is now. Okay, so we have a Tech Marine, standard Tech Marine. As the Warlord, and he has standard Tech Marine stuff. His Warlord trait is target protocols. So you pick a unit within 6 inches of you, and then you pick one of their weapons, and then that weapon can reroll to hit, reroll to wound, and reroll damage for in the shooting phase. Yes, the shooting phase. He also has a relic, the Gorgon's Chain, which is a module fitted to his armour that gives him a 4+ invulnerable save, and ranged attacks coming in against him are at -1 to wound. So if it would need a 4 to wound him, it actually will need a 5. Now, a couple of tactics that affect the whole army. The current chapter tactics for Iron Hands, the Flesh is Weak, is a 6+ ignore damage across the board. And any units that whose profile degrades based on the number of wounds counts as having double the wounds. In this battle, the only one that will affect is the Rhino. We also have another chapter ability called Calculated Fury. And whilst the Devastator Doctor is in effect, we can reroll 1s to hit with heavy weapons, and there's no penalties to move and fire with heavy weapons, which may affect the missile launcher, the heavy bolter. Obviously won't affect the servitors. None of this affects the servitors. We've got some servitors. 2 heavy bolters, 2 none. 5 bikes from the assault section of the clan. Sarge has a thunder hammer, plasma gun on one, melter gun on another. They're the only model choices I have. I would pick a flamer because they would equip a flamer against the Genestealers. But Genestealers can pack some pretty ferocious beasts as well. So they are there to deal with those beasts. We have a unit of 5 novitiates, 5 scouts. One with a heavy bolter and their ride, which is a land speeder storm. 2 dreadnoughts. 1 regular dreadnought on the left with a multi-melter and a storm bolter. I was all smug when I took his interchangeable arm off and tried to put the assault cannon on, and then realised that because this is from the Assault on Macragge kit, the fitting isn't the same, so the assault cannon fell off. So, again, he's got the multi-melter to deal with any really big Genestealers like Aberrants or Broodlords or anything like that that may or may not be showing up. Ironclad Dreadnought with 2 Hunter Killer missiles, Hurricane Bolter, and Seismic Fist Hammer. And then a unit of 10 Battle Brothers, one with a flame, one with a missile launcher, and one with a Power Fist. And their Rhino, which has a Hunter Killer missile. And that, good folks, is circa 1,000 points of Iron Hands. Let's see what the Genestealers have. And here we have roughly 1,000 points of Genestealer Cult, specifically the Cult of the Four-Armed Emperor. The ability of which means that on the first turn, all units get +1 to advance and +1 to charge. And in subsequent turns, if it's the turn they've deployed on the table, they get +1 to assault and +1 to charge. So, what are we looking at? Well, at the front here we have characters. We have the Primus, who is the army's general, warlord. Sorry, his warlord trait is Alien Majesty, which gives him a +3 aura, +3 inches to his aura. So his aura, he has a couple of aura abilities, and they add 3 inches to them. And he has the relic, the Oppressor's Bane, which is a pistol. It's a 3-shot pistol, strength 4, -2 AP, 2 damage, can target characters and rerolls wounds against characters. So that's pretty nice. Second in command, inverted commas, is the Magus. 2 psychic powers, of which he can cast 1 a turn. He's got Mass Hypnosis, which is Warp Charge 7. A unit can't overwatch. A unit can't overwatch if it's subject to mass, if it's been hypnotized, and is at -1 to hit in the ensuing fight phase. So that's, buff up or debuff charge. He also has Mind Control, which you target an enemy unit within 12 inches, roll 3d6. If you beat their leadership, one model can either shoot or fight on your side against their own men. Sorry. So, this Cult Uprising has been generations in the planning, and different generations of Genestealer hybrids are active. You have your sort of first and second generations, the Acolyte hybrids, who have multiple arms. You can't really let those guys out during the day, so these ones will be hiding in the sewers, preparing for the uprising, doing a lot of the legwork or arm work. And you get down to your sort of third generation, the neophyte hybrids, who are a bit disfigured, but they can pass as minors. And then you get the ones who have not had such a bad disfiguration, who broadly pass for just sort of ugly humans who can join and infiltrate the not Astra Militarum. What's the other one? The Planetary Guard. PDF, Planetary Defense Force. I was close. And all combined together to rise up. Anyway, as you can probably tell, I am not. My knowledge of the Genestealer Cult lore is still a work in progress. But this once peaceful Imperial mining community has been ripped apart by its loyal subjects rising up, its defense force turning on it, daubing the blood of people they've murdered on its vehicles and on its weapons. And all these strange, freakish monstrosities emerging from underground, causing havoc and killing. I have a lot more models to expand into this range. This is everything I've got, and I have plans for a Genestealer campaign. Don't know exactly when it'll happen. Hopefully sometime before the end of 2021, but we shall see what else occurs. But to the army. So we've gone through the characters. This is a Sanctus. He is basically an assassin, and he wounds a very, I think he's on a 2+ with his dagger. He also can make use of a stratagem that lets him appear from basically deep strike and then move, so he can get close to his target to kill him off. He's a nasty fellow, that one. So here we have a unit of 14 acolytes with various combinations of weapons. The leader has got a bow sword and lash whip. We have an icon. And then they're all WYSIWYG, a combination of mining weapons. So that's a saw, a drill, and there's another one in here somewhere. Oh, and a rock crusher, this sort of hydraulic pincer thing. These weapons are all totally nasty in close combat. For pure strain Genestealers, they are super nasty gribble, or at least they're supposed to be super nasty gribble. They weren't last time I played. Here, the Aberrants, which are sort of mutated hybrids, are far gribblier. These again are WYSIWYG, but they're super strong with big hissy weapons and mutations and so on. Obviously, I will be checking up on all the stats before I actually use the models during the game, so I'll be elaborating on some of it as we go. Then we have, is it 14 of these guys? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 of these. 2 grenade launchers, 2 mining lasers. Units of 12 Brood Brothers in the PDF with las guns, a Voxcaster, Sarge has a pistol and chainsword, and an auto gun. Heavy weapons team with mortars, and Scout Sentinel with missile launcher. Oh, we also have the rock grinder with its seismic cannon. So that is the Genestealer force. Let's go and have a look at... No, we're not looking at the armies. We've just done that bit. Let's move on to deployment. And here we are after deployment. The Iron Hand deploying the Rhino Oberus on the right flank with its 10 tactical marines inside who are combat squadded. The fast units, the bikes, and the novitiates inside the Lancebreeder Storm are fairly central, so they can move in either direction. And an anchor on the centre of the table, one of the dreadnoughts with the multi-melter. Then over defending the Mechanicum Forge, the Tech Marine with the servitors, and the ironclad dreadnought. Doesn't feel like a lot. Over there on the other side of the table, Auspex returns. Many, many Auspex returns. So, right, I'm now the Genestealer guy. I played a stratagem, scanner decoys, meaning that when I placed one of these units in Cult Ambush, I placed 4 markers rather than 1. So, the units that are down here are the Goliath Rock Grinder and the 3 PDF units. So, the Brood Brothers, the Armoured Set... the Armoured Sentinel and the Heavy Weapons team. So when I come to reveal these in the first battle round, I can choose any of these markers to deploy those units within 6 inches of, as long as I don't go outside my deployment zone. So I have the flexibility to respond to whatever the Imperial guy is doing. He's coming into this city and not knowing what he's facing. And he's going to be ambushed. Oh, yes, he is. Now, there's a lot of... Yeah, the benefits of going first or second. Ooh, it's a poser. I do like that. The trees around the Imperial statue, if I say so myself. Right, so... the choice of first turn. Black for the Iron Hands and purple for the devotees of the Star Children. Because my Star Children will be purple. Oh, yes, they will. when I eventually do them. Yes, they will. So the Iron Hands, do they want to go first or second? Logically, they know these are they're going to spring traps, and they want to be. I think the cold, logical thing to do is let them spring the traps, withstand them, and then crush them. So I think the Iron Hands are going to make the Genestealers take the first turn. Okay, Genestealer turn 1. So at the start of the first turn movement phase, this is where I've revealed the units. The Brood Brothers over here, ready to go sit on that objective. Maybe get some shots through that. Counting this as a forest so it can be fired through, but -1 to hit. This one is a ruin with quite a bit of height, so that can't be shot through. Yes, they're going to sit on that objective. These guys are sat nicely back here, hoping to be able to shell some of the non-believers from afar. The Goliath rock grinder is going up the gut, and some other Genestealers are going some other thing. They can pop out near them. This is going to be the anchor of well, you don't really anchor Genestealers, but it's there. It's going forward. Other stuff may gribble out. And here we have the Armoured Sentinel going to advance onto that objective and start putting fire down into one or other of these dreadnoughts. So now I need to decide which units are going. Now I need to move these, then reveal things that are coming out of Cult Ambush. Okay, so at the end of the movement phase, the Cult Armor Sentinel is tucked in behind that building, ready to put some fire down over here. The Rock Grinder has gone forward. This unit of 3rd generation hybrids, 3rd or possibly 4th generation hybrids, a mixture thereof. More likely the 3rd are the ones carrying the big weapons, and the 4th generation are the ones with the auto guns, have appeared in the centre, as has the Magus and the Primus. I ummed and ahed about whether to do that or not, but when I've had previous games, I've often wasted them by keeping them in reserve. So I'm seeing what happens. I'm having fun with it. These Brood Brothers have advanced onto that objective, and the weapons team has stayed there. So we are now onto the psychic phase, and the one spell, psychic power, we're going to attempt is Mind Control, which has a warp charge value of 7, but it's +1 because of the Warp Storm. And that is 5 +1, 6. Unless there's something on his data sheet that I'm not familiar with. No, sadly not. It would have been really nice to have watched that Dreadnought turn around and barbecue some of his mates. Ho-hum. Right, who to fire with first? Ooh, the agony of choice. Okay, so when the Primus appeared on the table, using his ability that I can't remember the name of, his Meticulous Planner ability, he's nominated the Dreadnought as the target for destruction. So any cult units within 6 inches of him can reroll 1s to wound against that Dreadnought. So we're going to fire with the Neophyte Hybrids. I could either have, when I position them, messed about to put them in little lines to make sure they can all hit through the trees and so on, or I could have put them somewhere that looks cool and just assume they can all fire through. So I've done the latter, but they are at -1 to hit because they're firing through the trees, firing through the woods. So all the auto guns are going into the bikes, and the 2 crack grenades and mining lasers are going into the Dreadnought. So 4s to hit on the 2 mining lasers, but -1 for the trees. 1 hit. Roll to wound. I now need to go and check the stats. Well, that's a wound. Strength 9 versus toughness 7. It's one of those really irritating codices where on the core troop, even though there's bags of space on the rest of the page, it doesn't put the heavy weapons and the special weapons on there. And you have to look them up in the back. Very frustrating. But that aside, okay, so that's a wound. Save of -3, so saving on a 6. It does not. And that is, was it D3 or a flat 3? Mining laser, D3 damage. For 1. Flesh is weak. That's a 1, so it takes a wound. Right, 2 crack grenades, hitting on 5s. 1 hit. Wounding on a 5, rerolling 1s. No wounds there. Okay, and then there's 18 of these guys. So 18 -4 is 14 las gunshots on the bikes. Sorry, auto guns, not las guns. 1 3+ save to take. Which is passed. No damage there. Okay, on to the rock grinder. Okay, we're going to put all the gun into the dreadnought. That's a heavy stubber and a seismic cannon. The reason I put the auto guns into the dreadnought as well is because they've only been wounding on 6s. So hitting on not blocked by 3s, so hitting on 4s. 2 hits. Strength at this range is 4, so running on 5s, rolling 1s. 1 wound. It's -1, so saving on 4s. Saved. And 3 heavy stubbers. You never know. What are the chances? No. Okay, so that's all these guys done. Let's fire a crack missile at the dreadnought. See what that does. Hits. Wounds on a 3. No. Sadly, no re-rolling of any sort. Ooh, can the auto cannon see it? It's a bit of a stretch. No, auto cannon can't see it. Let's see if these guys are in range of anything else. Right, I'm going to say the auto cannon can see it because it's a bit of an odd one, this. I've created a nice narrative-looking facade in the middle and said that it's dense terrain, so -1 to shoot through. But it's actually so solid you can't draw a line of sight through it, so I might as well have just put a massive big building there. So what I'm going to say is you can't see through the statue, but you can see through the rest of it. So the autocannon can see, but is at -1. And there are 2 las guns in range of the bikes, which will fire at the bikes. No hits on the dread, and 1 hit on a bike, putting on a 6. No. Okay, what is the best thing to shoot at with the mortars? They're strength 3, so... Oh, servitors. Yeah, let me check some range. Now, mortars being about an inch out of range of the servitors because of the diagonal that it's on. Oh, dice. Move dice. Table look better, Paul. So we're going to drop the mortars onto the bikes. 4d6 shots. 4, 9. 7, 8, 9. Hit on 4s. Ooh. Wounding on 5s. 1 save of 3+. Yep. Okay, so everyone has done their stuff. And not terribly well. We've taken a wound off a dreadnought. But we are holding 3 objectives. So if the Iron Hands want the point for the objectives, they must occupy 3 and take me off of 1 of them. Which I don't know they can do in this turn. But they only have to destroy 1 unit for the kill point. Okay, Iron Hands, turn 1. So at the end of the Iron Hands movement phase, it looks like this. It's looking a bit scary for a Genestealer cultist. So, go from left to right. The Tech Marine and the Ironclad Dreadnought have moved forward. In fact, they should have advanced. So they'll advance. Dread, Marine. There's no one really for them to shoot at the minute. The Dreadnought has moved forward to hold this intersection and put fire down the table. The bikes have revved onwards and are going to put fire into whatever's here. They've got some guns that mean they could go after the truck. They could also charge the truck with the thunder hammer, and they've got lots of small weapons fire to put into the neophytes. Over here, one of the combat squads has got out of the Rhino and moved on to this objective. The missile launcher setting up shop inside this ruin so he can fire out. Then, flying above the ruin is the Landspeeder Storm, intent on putting fire down into these Brood Brothers. I could, in theory, get the scouts out here, but I don't want to, so I'm not going to. And then the Rhino advanced with the other combat squad inside. So, no psychic phase, so it is time to go on to shooting. Now, what is only going to fire at one thing? The multi-melter on this dreadnought is only going to fire at one thing. It's only going to fire at the Goliath Rock Grinder, and it's only going to put a Storm Bolter into the Neophyte Hybrids. So, hitting on threes with the multi-melter, rerolling ones because the Devastator Doctrine is active. Reroll that one. So, one hit, wounding on a 3, wounds, -5 AP. That punches straight through, doing D6 damage for 3. Okay, 3 damage. And then 2 bolt rounds into the things. It's not a heavy, so they both miss. Right then, the bikes. The plasma and the melter will go into the grinder, and the 4 combi bolters, the 4 twin bolters, will go into the neophytes. So, melter, misses. Plasma, 2 hits. Wounding on 4s. 1 wound, punches straight through the armour, and does 1 damage. So, the Rock Grinder has lost 4 wounds. Except whilst looking up the number of wounds it had, I remembered that it's got the rugged construction rule, which means it shrugs damage on a 6, so it only lost 3 wounds, which I rolled off camera. Right, the combi bolters going into the hybrids. -1 for all the trees. Hitting on 4s. No rerolls of any kind. Oops. Mass reactive rounds pounding into semi-human flesh. Come here, you. Wounding on 3s. Okay. Saving on, I think, 5s. Okay. It might be 6s. Gotta check. Yep, saving on 5s. 5 of the hybrids died. Now we're having a... Ooh, are we? Yeah, I was going to say we're having a frag... Oh, I've knocked this off. That's better. I was going to say we're having a frag missile from this guy into the hybrids. Then I thought, no, hang on. I might want to shoot the Brood Brothers. Now I've just realised you can't see through the central pillar of that ruin. So it's definitely going into the hybrids. So oh, hang on, there's more than 10. So that's going to be 6 shots. Because it's a blast weapon. However, it is -1 to hits. Hit on 4s. 2 hits. Wounding on 3s. 1 wound. Saving on a 5. Okay, must have shot a tree. Yes, shot a tree. Nasty, nasty person shooting my trees. Do the servitors have any kind of ladder? No, they'll be shooting through a ruin, which cannot be done. Now, over here we have the Landspeeder Storm and the Occupants shooting at the Brood Brothers. Okay, so the Landspeeder Storm first, parsing all the data that's going through the tactical noosphere. The tactical marine has instructed them to get as much fire down into these the enemy artillery mortars as possible. Now that we have infantry exposed to its fire. So, the Cerberus, the Landspeeder Storm, its Cerberus launcher's not in range of the, not in the thing, it's too far, it's an 18-inch range. So the Cerberus launcher is going to go against the infantry unit, and the heavy bolt is going to go against the, whatever they are. So, the whatever they are's, Hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s because it's turn 1. 2 hits, wounding on 3, strength 5 to plus 3. 1 is injured, saving on a 5 because it's 6 is -1. No, that kills a base. The Cerberus launcher is a blast weapon, so has 6 shots, and is an assault weapon. I'm not checking the stats, it's a lie. No, it's a heavy weapon, so we'll reroll 1s. All 3 of them. So that's 4 hits, wounding on 3s, saving on 5s, because the obstacle's not on the right side of them. 2 saves, 2 guys die. Okay, right, I need to do a little bit of measuring. Okay, lessons were learned. Because of the casualties inflicted here, they're not in rapid fire range of that anymore, so they're going to put single shots and the heavy bolter down there. Are scouts still hitting on a 3-up? 1 minute. Yes, they are. Jolly good. But I like the way they're now substantially different to the full Marines, not just the extra point of armour save, with the having only 1 wound. That is good. Okay, 3 bolters, hitting on 3s. Wounding on 3s. 2 wounds, saving on 5s. No. 2 dead, kills a mortar. And then the heavy bolter hits once, wounding on a 3. Wounds, saving on a 6. There we go. That is a unit destroyed. No more incoming shell fire to the exposed infantry. Splendid. Okay, so the bike's going to charge the Goliath Rock Grinder, which is going to Overwatch with its shortwave seismic cannon, hitting on 6s. No, it's worth a try because it's uber strong at that range. Do they make it in? 7 inches. They do indeed. Okay, starting with the bikes. With Shock Assault, the Sergeant has 3 attacks, hitting on 3s. 3 hits. No, hitting on 4s. It's a Thunderhammer, but they all did hit. Strength 8 to plus 7, wounding on 3s. 2 wounds. Only -2 a Thunderhammer these days, but a flat 3 damage. Saving on 6s. He must have hit a very heavily armoured mining protection plate designed to doze through solid rock. So that's 3 wounds lost, but with its rugged construction, it might not be bothered. Nah, it's bothered. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8 attacks from the other Marines. This isn't going well from the Marines' perspective. Winning on 5s. 2 wounds, saving on 4s. 1 gets through. Does it shrug it? It does. It only takes 3 wounds. That is not nearly as decisive as one might have hoped. Last time I think about it, the last time I did this, it was against Murphy's War on Winters, playing against Winters, and they sucked then as well. Mistakes were made. Okay, so with that many wounds, the Goliath has D6 attacks for 3. Hits on 4s. 2 hits. That is right, isn't it, Paul? Yes. Okay. And the drill dozer blade is strength 9. Wounding on 3s. 1 wound minus a lot. That's a fail. How much damage? D3. Might kill a bike. Kills a bike. Should take that one that's actually by the dozer blade. Getting all crunched up and mangled, kind of like in Total Recall, when people get run over. Okay, so that happened. Right, morale. What's the leadership of those neophytes, and what happens when there are characters nearby? 1 minute. Nothing special that I can see. The Marines can't fail, neither can the Brood Brothers, but these guys have a leadership of 8 and they lost 5. That's less than that. They are good. They are devoted servants of the Star Children. Okay, so at the end of Battle Round 1... Sorry, I'm just looking at the objectives. Iron Hands. Iron Hands. Iron Hands. G-Stealers. So, there are 3 each. So no one scores the point for the objectives. However, the Iron Hand did destroy the heavy weapons team that was over there. So they get 1 point for battle round 1. Okay, as we go on to Genestealers, turn 2. So this is what it looks like at the end of the Genestealer movement phase. So at the start of the turn, I used Cult Reinforcements for 1 command point, adding D6 models back to this neophyte unit. Rolled a 6. Only 5 have been slain, so that unit's back at full starting strength. They've moved into the centre. It looks like they should get some kind of barricade cover for that, but it's an ornamental shrubbery, so no. The characters have moved have moved over here, trying to get away from the exploding Goliath, because it's kind of going to explode, although it is going to get to shoot at these bikes first, although it won't attack first. But we might be able to twist the mind of the man with the thunder hammer and, oh no, make him hit his own people. I ummed and ahed about which units to bring in, and I decided to be patient and not bring them all in at once. We have the unit of 5 pure strain Genestealers coming over here, who are going to attempt to take apart the servitors on that objective. Well, it's a 9-inch charge, maybe, maybe not. And we have over here, needs a dice. We have over here the Sanctus has come in, the bio-assassin, 9 inches away from that objective. Now he gets a free use of Perfect Ambush, which is a D6. It's a D6 inches move instantly he arrives for 2. So he needs a 7-inch charge rather than a 9-inch charge. It would have been nice if it had been more. This is where I can hear Winters in the corner of my mind going, command point! No, don't use those, they're evil. And that is the nature of the movement. So, running around to the other side of the table, we're going to try and mess with the mind of that, dice. Try using mind control. We're going to try and mess with the mind of that dude. Need a 7, but because of the warp surge, only needs to be a 6. It's an 8. No one can deny. So I now need to roll 3d6 and beat his leadership. 10, 11. That beats his leadership. So with his 3 attacks against his own guys, is it 3 attacks or 1 attack? That model can immediately shoot an enemy unit of your choice and make a single close combat attack against it. So if it was a heavy 12 gun, it could fire all shots, but it can only punch once. I feel robbed. Hitting on a 4. Hits. Wounding on a 3. Wounds. -2 AP only. That doesn't feel right. Saving on a 5. Brother, what are you doing? That was my carapace. Featured word was. I don't know. There's. We need a librarian down here. So the rock grinder is going to start. No. There's another thing I need to do to start the shooting phase. 1 minute. Spending a 2-point stratagem on how I had it a moment ago. Yeah, detonate concealed explosives, which are sat underneath this flying thing. Generations in the planning. On a 4+, it will take D3 mortal wounds, which it does for how many? For 1. Which, if we're on a 6, it does not. Takes a wound. Putting it down to 6. It's going to be tricky to strip all those wounds off it this turn. Ho-hum. Right, back to the Goliath. Hitting on 5s because it's firing a heavy weapon into close combat. No, the heavy stubber. Watch this. Yeah, we get one with the heavy stubber. Wounding on a 5. No. Okay. What's only going to fire at one thing? I know you said Dreadnought. Armoured Sentinel, crack missile at Dreadnought. Hitting on a 4. No. See, it's guard, isn't it? Need a lot more of these for it to be any good. To be fair, my 2 most expensive units are still off the table. So, not incredibly surprising. Okay, so all of the fire from this unit of Brood Brothers is going into the Land Speeder Storm. 2 2 autocannon shots. Hit on 4s. So I was just trying to work out if there were any changes to the plus minus gubbins. Wounding on 4? I have to check. No, it's toughness 6, so wounding on 3s. -1 to save. That's a save. Alright, 2 crack grenades. Both hit. Wounding on 4s. 1 hit, 1 wound. Saving on... not that. D3 wounds for 3. Do we ignore them because we're massively well made? No. So it has 3 wounds remaining. Now, what else do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lasguns. Well, it's a big ask. Need 6s to wound. You've got to hit first. 4 hits. Wounding on 6s. Come on, I need 3. That's none. Okay. Right, what next? Okay, now we come to the Neophyte Hybrids. Shooting out of the dense terrain doesn't give us a penalty. So, well, we're going to shoot at the Dreadnought. Because this is the target that the Primus nominated. So first off, 2 mining... all the shots are going into it. 2 mining lasers. 1 hits. Strength 9. Wounds minus more than that. 3 damage. Oh, goodness. Annoyed myself. My short-term memory is causing me issues. That, with the loss of my short-term memory, has affected my short-term memory. D3 for 2, which it shrugs on 6s. Shrugs 1 of them, so it's down to 6. Okay. Right, 2 crack grenades hitting on 4s. No. And then 14 auto gunshots. Wounding on 6s, rerolling 1s. It's not going to be enough, is it, lads? No. That Sentinel was meant to do a lot more with that crack missile. Twice. 6s. No 6s. Okay, we've taken a wound off it. Okay. Okay. Is that all the gun? That's all the gun. It must be. They fired. He hasn't got any targets for his pistol because no one's close enough. No one's close enough. They fired. He's fired. Right. Charges. Charges. Is it worth overwhelming the bikes with neophytes? It is not. Well, maybe it is. Okay, Genestealers attacking the servitors. Now, it's a 9-inch charge, but because of the Cult of the Four-Armed Emperor, I get +1 to this because they've arrived in this turn. So we need 8 or less. That is... sorry, 8 or more even. 11 is more than 8, so they're in. The Sanctus was 9 away, needed a 7-inch charge, but it's 6 with the Cult of the Four-Armed Emperor. Am I going to Overwatch? No, I'm not. 6. He's in. Okay, going to activate the Sanctus first, because I don't want the Marines interrupting, because they'll get too many attacks and maybe kill him. Not bothered about the services interrupting. Okay, with the Biodagger, the Sanctus has 5 attacks, hitting on 2s, wounding on 2s. 5 hits. 5 wounds. This is a -2, 2 damage weapon, so it's saving on 5s for the Marines. 1 save. Okay, so 4 are potentially dead, but the first one doesn't shrug and dies. The second one doesn't shrug and dies. The third one doesn't shrug and dies. The fourth one doesn't shrug and dies. That was efficient, and he will consolidate. I'll give him a chance to fight back in a minute, but yep, fine. Okay, no interrupting. Now to the Genestealers. These guys have 3 wounds each. 3 attacks each, so 15 attacks, hitting on 3s. That's a lot of 1s and 2s. Disproportionately. I mean, look at that. Goodness me. Okay, strength 4. Oh, what's toughness of service? I assume 3? Yeah, 3. Wounding on 3s. 6s are Aberrants. So that goes straight through his armour and kills 1. Which means these 5 more get to save. Their armour is 4 up, -1 for the rending claws, so saving on 5s. 1 saves, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, dead. That's the unit. This is where it was definitely in the Iron Hand's favour to make the Genestealers go first. Force them to play their hand before reacting to it. Because if the Genestealers had the second turn, then they'd just be holding that objective. But now the Iron Hands have got a chance to push them off it. Okay, so now we come to ongoing combats. And the Marines activate first. The Thunderhammer with... Oh, it's only 2 attacks. Oh, I rolled too many attacks last time. No, I didn't. I only rolled 1 attack in the Psychic phase. It's just the 2 attacks, hitting on 4s. Obviously, he needs his momentum. He needed his momentum. And then 3 attacks, hitting on 4s. 1 hit, wounding on... Not that. Oh dear. Right, the Goliath on that many wounds gets D6 attacks for 4. Hitting on 4s. 3 hits. And let me remind myself, the Dozer Blade is +3 strength, is strength 9. So wounds on 3s. 3 2s. Okay, no score draw. Right, we have a Marine attacking back against the Sanctus, hitting on 3s. 1 hit. Yeah, 1 hit. Fails to wound. So, morale. Does that Marine break? He lost 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. He's not a Sarge. He runs away. Yeah, I don't like the idea of him running. Maybe the Tech Marine issued him new orders to pull out, and the Sanctus stabbed him in the back as he did. Yes, I like that more. So at the end of the Iron Warriors movement phase turn... I was playing Iron Warriors last night, you see. Every Children versus Iron Warriors that's gone up in the members lounge on the channel. I should have thought playing Iron Warriors and then Iron Hands was going to cause me some issues. It's like playing Blood Angels with Death Company and then Death Guard. For a while, they were my only 2 armies. Could I say the right thing? No. But all I got was abuse from my mates rather than, putting it out on YouTube. Anyway, you see, a professional person, having made that mistake 15, not even that, 3 seconds into a clip, would have deleted it and did it again. But, you get what this is what you get when you watch my vids. So the Iron Hands turn 2 movement phase looks like this. The bikes have fallen back from the rock grinder, realizing they're being instructed that the high velocity, high impact lightning assault has failed. So being directed to withdraw, cover the objective, and send the Dreadnought in. Over here, he doesn't want to. He knows it's going to cost him time and other objectives on the battlefield, but the Tech Marine has turned around and with the Ironclad to deal with these Genestealers. And then potentially someone will have to occupy that objective to ensure the safety of that AdMech facility. AdMech, of course, being very close cousins of the Iron Hands. They do a lot together. So over here, the second similar story. The forward push has been somewhat weakened. The other half of the tactical unit has got out and moved on to secure this objective and is intent on gunning down the Sanctus. The poor Sanctus isn't quite in the terrain. If he was in the terrain, he'd have super bonus cover save because he gets extras. As it stands, he's screwed. So there's going to be some fire coming down here into these guys. This objective must be taken this turn. It is imperative to the success of the mission. We will then control through the majority of this battle grid and battlefield. Damn you, Winters, and start to push the mutants back. Obviously, there's a bit of an infestation around those trees, but we'll get to that. So there's going to be fire going into this unit. The intention being to wipe them off, to wipe them off. That's mental, the things. This turn. So to start the shooting phase, these tactical marines are going to annihilate the Sanctus. Now the tactical doctrine is in effect, so assault and rapid fire weapons are now an extra point of AP. So first off, Flamer for 6 hits by Sanctus. Wounding on 3s because he has toughness 3. He has a save of 5, which is now 6. And 4 wounds. He's crispy fried. That's also a unit. Maybe the thing to do with him... Well, he's obviously a suicide unit, but maybe if I'd had another unit engaged at the same time, he could have run in, killed some stuff up, and then slinked off whilst the other unit was still there. Maybe he'd have been useful in the centre. Anyway, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Right, he's dead. So over here, we are spending 2 command points on Wrathful Machine Spirit for this Land Speeder Storm. It's been badly damaged, and it's ticked off. Which means it can reroll to hit this turn. Now, how many men are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... No, 8... 9, 10. Technically, it's only 9 models, but that's 10 men. So I'm saying the Cerberus launcher is going to have maximum shots. Hitting on 3s, re-rolling to hit. 3 misses. 5 hits. Strength 4. It's not 6 anyway, so running on 3s. Okay. No negative AP because it's a heavy weapon. So 4, 5 plus saves. So 2 and 2 die. Now the heavy bolter hitting on 3s with a reroll. Wounding on 3s. AP -1, saving on 6s. No, 2 damage each, so 2 more die. Now we'll move on to the Storm Bolter over here with 4 shots. It's a rapid fire weapon, so we can reroll the... No, hang on. That's not how that works. Wounding on 3s. 2 wounds, -1 AP, because it's a rapid fire weapon, saving on 6s. Yes, 1 save, 1 died. You died. Now the scouts inside the Speeder. The heavy bolter moved, so the 3s are not hits, because it's no longer the Devastator Doctrine. Right, so we're on to 1 bolt pistol and 1, 2, 3. I have to do these separately because the bolt pistol won't have the extra AP because it's not the assault doctrine. It's a hit. It's a wound. Saves on a 5. Yes. Now the rapid fire bolters. No re-rolling to hit unless I'm missing something. Wounding on 3s. Saving on 6s. No, 2 more die. Okay, not the entire unit wiped. That is a problem. Well, they might run off. How many have died? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They may better part of valor. They may run away. We shall see. Could always charge them. Is the Speeder Storm really good in a fight? I'll have to look. Okay, now the Dreadnought determined to end this belligerent heretic xenos truck. Multi-melter and the Storm Bolter into the neophytes. Multi-melter hits once. Wounds on a 3. Wounds. Punches straight through the armour for 4 plus 2 damage is 6. Oh, didn't get enough dice. Which will destroy it, but it can shrug on 6s. It shrugs 1. That's not enough. Does it blow up? It does blow up and will take some things with it. Okay, so this is going to get the Acolytes, the 2 characters, and the Dreadnought. Let's do the Dreadnought first. 1 wound, which it may shrug. It shrugs. I was going to say iron within, iron without. The flesh is weak. That's it. Flesh is weak. Sorry, there's too much emotion in that. Flesh is weak. That's better. Bit drier. All right, D3 mortal wounds on the Magus for 3. Now, These cultists have unquestioning loyalty, and they will try and hurl themselves in front of the Magus. So each wound is taken on a 4+, one of the cultists will take the wound for him and die in his stead. So 2 dead cultists and 1 wound. Not you. Oh, no, yeah, you're nearest. And then 1 wound gets through to the Magus, which I'll chalk up in a minute. Number of wounds on the Primus, 2. And cultists will try and jump in front of that as well. And they succeed for 2. So now we come over here. The Ironclad opening up with everything he's got, which in this case is a Hurricane Bolter for 12 shots and a melter gun. So the Hurricane Bolter hitting on 3s. Wounding on 4s, got strength 4, toughness 4. Then invulnerable saves of 5+. 1 save to 3 dead Genestealers. And the melter gun hits. Wound on a 2. Invulnerable save of 5+. Yes, he dodged out the way. And he kind of scorched the AdMech facility. So he's not very happy about that. That's 3 dead. The bolt pistol of the Tech Marine misses. Okay, 2 remain. Alright, I did remember the Storm Bolter in against these guys, but didn't roll any hits because of the -1. Right, charge phase. Do I want to get swamped by cultists? I don't know that I do. Don't know what I'm going to do about them. No, I want to turn my attention over here next turn. Uh-oh. The Last British Storm's not bad in a fight. Well, not bad against 3 guards, but anyway, so it's going to charge. Makes it in. Do I Overwatch? Not likely to kill it. Not got any command points left. No, I don't. And the... well, they aren't a unit, so I'm going to have to do those both separately. Oops, to daisy. Right, the Dread. 6 is in. And the Tech Marine is in. Okay. Right. Books over there. Let's activate. Have I definitely got all the charges? Yes. Let's activate the Dreadnought first. And Mr. Ironclad has 4 attacks plus 1 with Doodah. -1 to hit with a seismic hammer, so wood hitting on 4s. Do I want to do Wisdom of the Ancients to re-roll the 1s? I think I do. We'll do that. He's wise and ancient. Let's re-roll that 1. Still missed. Okay. Wounding on 2s. Oh no. Save of 5+. Dodge? No, squish. I think it does 5 wounds, that thing. Definitely a dead Genestealer. Now, do I want to interrupt with 1 Genestealer? No, I don't think I do. Okay, 3 attacks plus 1 for charging. 1 with the servo arm, which misses. And a 3 with the power axe. 1. It is a 3-up hit for a Tech Marine. Yeah, I thought so. They're the shooty ones. Wounding on a 3. Saving on a 5. Invulnerable save. No. Last Genestealer gets cut down. And they reclaim the forge. So, coming over here on the charge, because it gets shock assault, the Lance British Storm has 3 attacks hitting on 3s. Basically, it's the scouts inside hitting. 2 hits, wounding on 3s, 1 wound, saving on a 5. No. So that's a wound done to that guy. And these guys get to attack back. Ooh. There's a chainsword in there. Okay, hitting on 4s. Wounding on 6s. Saving on 4s. No! Oh, it's down to 1 wound! Oh my god! How close has he just come? Ah! Sorry. Yeah, that was rather loud and really not necessary. Okay, that is the end of Iron Hand. Got it right that time. Turn 2. Now, as it stands, the Iron Hands have 3 objectives. We have one that's potentially contested, but there is a troop choice on it. One of whom may run away. One of whom will definitely run away. The other one may run away. Do I want to be insanely courageous? I don't know. Insanely courageous? No, thank you. It's a gamble. I want to keep the command points. Besides, I don't quite like the idea of one sergeant staying there against 5 Marines in a flying vehicle. That doesn't sound quite right. So I'm going to roll for it. So leadership test. They fail. 1 runs. Not surprised he's run. The mate with the gun's just been shot and killed. And the other guy will run a 1 or a 2. He stays. So, at the end of the battle round, Genestealers have that one because he is objective secured, which they no longer are. It's 3-all, so no one gets the point for the battlefield again. However, the Imperials killed the Sanctus, the Goliath, and the Genestealers, whereas the Genestealers only killed a tactical squad and the services, so they killed more. So the Iron Hands get another point, going 2-0 into the lead at the end of turn 2. Right, what are the Genestealers going to do in turn 3? So at the end of the Genestealers movement phase, it looks a bit like this. So, used another command point on cult reinforcement and got another 6. So the Brew brothers are being reinforced. They must be flooding out of this sewer grate, or actually, these are troops. They'll just have marched up the road to get there. Yeah. Let me just tweak the position of him because he's going to be smiting, and I want to destroy the speeder. So the Aberrants have come in over there. They're eyeing up these bikes. And the Acolyte Hybrids are going to try and overwhelm this contraption and the deluded red person next to it. So, we go on to the psychic phase. At the start of the psychic phase, I'm going to spend 2 command points on telepathic summons. Which is I roll 3 dice, and then I can summon an infantry unit of that power or less onto the battlefield. Oh yes, I can. I'm looking for 4 in total, so I just don't want 3 ones. Okay, in theory I could probably have quite a big unit of Genestealers, but I'm going to have my 5 Genestealers back. Summoned by telepathy, probably from that manhole. The Genestealers appear on the other side of the table. Right, continuing the psychic phase. Smite. Let's destroy that. Yes, 7. Oh, I could spend a command point on something of something, which I will. Hang on. Spending a command point on Souls of Iron, which on a 4+ will negate that smite. Which it doesn't. So it still does D3 damage. Destroys the speeder. Does the speeder explode? No. Do any of the scouts die? No. Okay. Oh yeah, the Primus came over here. Starting the shooting phase, the Primus is going to fire Oppressor's Bane. His relic at these guys, hitting on 3s. 1 hit, strength 4, wounding on a 4. No. These guys fell back, so can't shoot. I did and ahh about leaving them in combat, but in case the smite didn't work, I fell back so other fire could go into the scouts. Other fire into the scouts. Right, next thing's next. Crack missile into that dread. Hits, wounding on a 3. Wounds, saving on a 5. Saves. Never does. Oh, he's a scout sentinel, not an armor sentinel. I've just noticed he's got an open hatch. Whoops. Right, okay, so the neophytes in the middle. Definitely the mining lasers are going into the dreadnought. But what about the crack grenades? I'd really like these to be dead. Because whilst I hold that objective now, they'll hold it next turn because they'll just kill me. But they're going to get charged by the Primus. But he might not make it. Oh, the agony of choice! It's your fault, you idiot. You do nothing. Sorry. Two frag grenades into the scouts as well. Okay. The mining lasers into the dreadnought. Hitting on 4s. 1 hit. Wounding on a 3. Wounds. Saving on... Got to check. On a 6, so that fails. D3 damage for 1, which he may shrug. He does not. Takes him down to 5. God, will he never die? He's going to counter-assault those Aberrants. Unless the Aberrants charge him instead of the bikes. I made them equidistant from both. Problem for later. Right, it's 2 frag grenades into the scouts. Minimum 3, so that's 6 shots. Oh, I don't want to dice. Hang on. I don't know why I say hang on, because for you it's instantaneous. It's only me who goes away. Right, hitting on 4s. 4 hits, wounding on 5s. Oh, 2 wounds. Saving on 4s, carapace armour. 1 dies. With the single solitary wounds. 10 shots with auto guns. Hitting on 4s. That's some good shooting. That was a miss. That's wounding on 5s. 2 more. Saving on 4s. 1 more dies. That one. Is there any more fire I can find to put into the... Does the Magus have a pistol? Will he hit with it if he does? He does. Auto pistol wound on a 5. No. 2 auto pistols from the neophytes have wounded the Temporaries, saving on 2s. Takes a wound. Now we move on to the charge phase, realising of course that I could have been spending command points on Auspex scan to shoot these units as they arrived, but I didn't. Live and learn. Right, first off, these guys arrive this turn, so they get +1, so they get in on an 8, but there is going to be Overwatch. 8 to make it in. They're in. Overwatch. D6 Flamer hits for 3. 2 wounds, 2 saves of 5+. 2 dead Genestealers. That's excellent. And then bolters and bolt pistol. 6s, please. Ooh, couple. 1 wound, save of 5. Yes. 2 dead Genestealers, 3 Genestealers in the fight. That's probably going to make a significant difference. Right. Moving on over here. I haven't quite worked out the distance yet, but the Primus is going to charge the scouts, but he's running across a barricade, so he needs a bigger number. That's not enough. Then the Aberrants are going to charge the bikes rather than the dreadnought. Difficult decision, but yeah, the bikes. They need an 8 because of their Cult Creed. They get a 10. They are in. And then over here, last but by no means least, the hybrid acolytes. Neophyte hybrid acolytes? Yeah, they need an 8 also to charge both these units. They fail on a 6. Okay, so I'm going to start over here because I'm least keen on the idea of being interrupted over here. 3 Genestealers, 9 attacks, hitting on 3s. Ooh, 8 hits. Jolly good. Wounding on 4s, 6s are uber-rendy. That's very good. 5 in total. 1 rend, so we'll save on a 6, which it doesn't. These are -1, so we'll save on 4s. 4 wounds get through. Are they shrugged? None of them are shrugged. Kills 2 Marines. I know it's out of sequence, but seeing as I'm here, I'm going to do these Marines now. It doesn't change anything. Power Fist. 3 attacks hitting on 4s. Missed. Oh no. It's obviously the surprise having them appear behind them and not appearing on their Auspex. The other guys, 2 hits. 2 wounds. 2 saves of 5 plus 2. Yeah. The adrenaline, the biology is hyperactive now, and those Genestealers are not going anywhere. Although they're not going to control that objective, because the Marines are a troop choice. Okay, so the bikes are going to interrupt against the Aberrants. It's not a clear-cut decision for whether to do that or not, but we're going to see how it goes. Because the Aberrants can shrug wounds, and yeah. Right, the Thunder, and we know how good the bikes are. The Thunder Hammer, this is where we're at. We hits on 4s. 2 hits. Wounding on 3s, because it's strength 8, toughness 5. 2 wounds. Goes straight through the armour, flat 3 damage each, but they each shrug on 5s. So he takes 2 wounds and dies. The next guy takes 1 wound and lives. Then we have 6 more attacks from the other bikes. Come here, you. They're all hit. Yep, wounding on 5s. 1. Saving on a 5. I think it's a 5 up save now. Does he shrug it? He does. So 1 Aberrant dies and 1 has a wound remaining. So the Aberrants, they each get an attack with their rending claw, which I'll do in a moment. The Aberrant has a hammer. What's it called? A heavy power hammer, as does one of the others. So I'll do all these together. And then -1 to hit the heavy power hammer. So these are only going to hit on 4s. That is 4 hits. These are strength 10, so we're going to wound the bikes on 2s. That's 4 wounds, and the heavy power hammer is -3. So they're going to save on 6s. 1 save. Now they're a flat 3 damage each. So, first one, does he shrug any? Yes. The second one takes 2 damage, so that's 1 bike dead. And the third one, no shrugging, 2 bikes die from the hammers. Okay, now the power picks. These are going to hit on 3s. That's 4 hits. These guys are doing well. The strength is user, so it's strength 5, so it's going to wound on 4s. That's 3 wounds. Minus of the power pick is -2, saving on 5s. 1 save for D3 damage each. The first one for 1, and then for 3. So that's 3 to shrug, which he doesn't, and that guy dies. And I made a mistake. It's only 2 of them to get to use the rending claw. So that's 2 hits. Wounding on 4s. -1 saving on 4s. 1 save. So the remaining guy takes 2 wounds, or is on 2 wounds, and the Aberrants pile in. Nasty. Nasty, nasty. They hit hard. That is it. That is it. Okay, morale. The Scouts lost 2. They're fine. The bikes lost 3. They're also fine. Their highly logical brains are indifferent to the death of their colleagues. Right. Let's go to Iron Hands, turn 3. Okay, so the Iron Hands have moved. The Scouts have stayed still because they're going to put fire into here and potentially fire into that guy, depending on how all that goes. The Dreadnought is moving towards the Aberrants to intercept them, but spinning on his axis to attempt to take out this walker that keeps shooting at him. and the Ironclad has stepped forward to impose himself between that horde of mutants and the Tech Marine. And that's it for movement. Not a huge amount to move. So let's start the ball rolling with Storm Bolter into the Neophytes, and 2 shots with the multi-melter into the Walker. Okay, 2 hits, wounding on 3s. 1 wound, it goes straight through the armour, doing 2 damage, not in range to do anything more than that. 4 wounds remaining there on the Sentinel, 2 saves to take for the Neophytes. 1 pass, 1 fail, and 1 guy dies. Remaining in the Tactical Doctrine, just for your info. Right, moving on over here, the Storm Bolter into these mutants / heretics. Running on 3s, saving on a 6. No. Kills 1. Right, do we shoot at the character? He's going to be a problem, the character, because I can charge these. The character can heroically intervene into me as well. No, let's put him into the Neophytes. Into the Brood Brothers. Alright, Heavy Bolter. 2 hits. Wounding on 3s. 1 wound. 1 save of a 6. Goodness me. That flak armour taking a large mass reactive round to the chest. And bolts. 1 save of a 5. No, 1 more killed by a bolt. Okay. 3 bolt pistols into the Genestealers. 2 hits. 1 wound. 1 dies. Okay, now the Ironclad unloads the Acolytes with his Hurricane Bolter and his Melter Gun. Hurricane Bolter first. Wounding on 3, still toughness 3, even though these are a bit chunkier. So that's 7 wounds, saving on 6s. Because they're AP -1. 3 saves, 4 die, and the Melter Gun misses. Now the dilemma here is, do I charge the Dreadnought in? And I know these guys with their mining tools will make short work of him in a few turns. But it'll keep the Tech Marine alive for a few more turns. Or do I stay there and allow myself to be charged but last a turn longer? I think I charge in and keep him away from the Tech Marine for a couple of turns. Charge. He makes it. The Dreadnought charges. Who makes it? And the Scouts charge these guys. And they make it. Right, fight phase. Is there anywhere I particularly don't want to be interrupted? It's got to be one of these 2. I mean, the Tyrannic Genestealer guy would love to kill those 3 Marines, but it'd mean everything hit, everything wound, nothing saved. So that's not going to happen over there. So I'm going to start over here because I absolutely don't want the Aberrants to hit that Dreadnought. Okay, 5 attacks on the charge from the Dreadnought. Hitting on 3s. 2 hits. Wounding on 2s. 2 wounds. Is it flat 3 or D6 from a Dreadnought? I know a Hellbrute's D3. 1 minute. Okay, so it's flat 3. So 1 guy's on 2 wounds. He will shrug on 5s. He shrugs 2 of them. And he's on 1 wound remaining. And the next one will hit him and kill him, leaving only 3 Aberrants remaining. Oh dear. Right, now the Ironclad. Hitting on 4s with his Siege Hammer. Smashing to bits on 2s. 3 dead. Okay, coming over here to the Scouts next. I really should have dropped into the assault doctrine. It's just fights, fights, fights everywhere. Oh, lessons were learned. Okay, the Sarge with his chainsword. Hits 3 times, wounding on 3s. 1 wound, saving on a 6. Yes. Then the other scouts. 3 hits, 3 wounds, 2 die. Right, now my opponent gets to activate a unit first, and it is absolutely going to be the Aberrants. Okay, the Abominant with his heavy pick, a heavy hammer, against the Dreadnought. Hitting on 4s, 1 hit. Wounding on a 3. Wounds. Minus... not enough? I think it's -3. It is indeed -3, and that's not enough. I said Abominant, I meant Aberrant Hypermorph. There's one guy with a pick who's also attacking the Dreadnought with 2 attacks, 2 hits. Strength of the pick is user, so wounding on 5s, 1 wound, -2, saving on a 5, D3 damage for 1, -1, minimum 1, 1. Does he struggle on a 6? He does not, down to 4. Then he has a Rending Claw attack, which hits and wounds, and saves on a 4. Okay. Then 2 attacks with a heavy power the big one against the bike. 1 hit. Wounding on a 2. Saving on a 6. That's not a 6. Flat 3 damage. The flesh is weak. No 6s. That's the bikes. Now the Marine guy is going to activate the Marines. 2 attacks with Power Fist. 1 hit, 1 miss. Wounding on a 2. Wounds, saving a 5+. Saves. 2 attacks from the Marines that both hit. Wounding on 4s. Saving on a 5. No, kills a Genestealer. May as well do the Genestealer whilst I'm here. Hitting on 3s. Yep. Wounding on 4s. 1. Saving on a 4. No. 1 guy takes a wound. Okay, then we have 5 attacks against the scouts. It's worth noting that he wasn't close enough to heroically intervene. Not by design, that's just how it worked out. Hitting on 4s. 2 hits. Wounding on 5s. 1 wound. Saving on a 4. No, one of the scouts is gutted like a fish. Yes, right, now over here. Now it's time for the Acolytes. And they have so many different things in that unit, I most definitely need to consult the book. Okay, 1 weapon at a time for the sake of my sanity. The Heavy Rock Saw. Hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s because the unit has a cult icon. Reroll a 1. 1 hit. Strength times 2, strength is 4, 8. Strength 8, so toughness 8. Wounding on a 4. No wound. Now the Rock Drill. Hitting on 3s. No 1 to reroll. Strength times 2, strength 8, toughness 8. Wounding on a 4. Yes. -3 AP. Come on. Saving on a 6. No, so that's 1 wound. I think they've got 8. Let's keep a track. 8 wounds. Takes 1. Now there's some more gubbins for this. After the bearer has made all its attacks, roll a d6 for each model that suffered damage but not been destroyed. On a 2+, the model suffers a mortal wound. He might have shrugged that wound. On a 6? No. Right, so on a 2+, he takes another mortal wound, which he does, but he might shrug. He does not. Takes a wound. Now on a 3+, does this just keep going? Yeah, okay. On a 3+, he takes another mortal wound. No, okay. He's just being drilled into. Yowzers. Okay. Now, a Heavy Rock Cutter. Is this -1 to hit or anything? Yes, you must subtract 1 from the rolls. Hitting on 4s, rerolling 1s. 2 3s. That's not hit at all. Right, Lash Whip and Bone Sword. Right, 3 attacks for the Lash Whip and a Bone Sword. 2 hits. Ooh, that's not a wound. Right, now what else have they all got? Cultist Knife, Rending Claw and Blasting Charges. You get an additional attack with a Cultist Knife. They've all got a Cultist Knife. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 attacks with Cultist Knives. Okay, got it. Knives? Knives. And there was 10, 4 special weapons, so there are 6 attacks, 6 models attacking with Rending Claws. Okay, so that's 12 attacks with Rending Claws. That's fine, 12 dice. Okay, hitting on 3s, rolling 1s. We're rolling these 1s. 9 hits. Strength 4, toughness 8, so we're wounding on 6s. But Rending Claws do uber AP on 6s. So that's 1 6, so that's -4, so that goes straight through. But he might shrug it because the flesh is weak. He does not. Puts him on 5. So now 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 Cultist Knives, which are just basic strength 4 weapons. Hitting on 3s, rerolling these 1s. Sixes to wound. That's 2 wounds. Saving on normal 3+. Both fail. Any of them shrugged? No. Down to 3 wounds, assuming I'm right in that they started on 8, which I will now go and check. Okay, so now we're on to the morale phase. And the neophyte, the Acolyte Hybrids lost a lot. They lost 7, so they will certainly fail. And whilst the unit will still be quite effective, game-wise, I like the idea that they're just frothing at the mouth and climbing all over it, tearing bits off it. So I've elected to spend 2 command points on Insane Bravery and keep them there as they are. Now, the Ironclad has done its job in that the Genestealers are not going to be able to move on to that objective in turn 4. Maybe turn 5, but that's not turn 4. So, more morale. The Aberrants can't fail. The Scouts can fail. No, they can't fail. But these troops can fail. They lost 4. That's definitely a fail. So 1 will run. And the other 2 will run on 1s and 2s. So the Sarge is there again. On his lonesome. Any other units that could fail? No. Okay, so who controls what? As unlikely as it seems, the Genestealers are controlling this objective with the 1 troop. I mean, they've got a very powerful character nearby, so it must be quite. The Scouts are definitely not confident in their controlling of this. They're wary, whereas these guys, they know they've got it. So yeah, they control that objective. They control this one and that one. Oh, with the bike dead, the Genestealers control that one as well. The Genestealers control 4. And the Marines control 2. Point to the Genestealer cults. Now, which units have died? The bikes died. No whole Genestealer units have died. They didn't manage to finish off that last Genestealer. Didn't finish off this guy. The Genestealers get both points. So in turn 3, that takes the score to 2-all. Anyone's game in turn 4. Okay, Genestealers turn 4, and the battle is pretty static at this point. We've got a number of little niche fights going on. Few slight changes. The Scout Sentinel is sticking his head around the corner of this this ruin to take a shot at. Or can he? Can he? How am I counting the ruin? No, he can't. He can't. He's not going to do that. He's going to look this way and fire at this rhino instead. Because I would say that it's just the line across there that's the ruin bit, but this is still part of that, so we'd have to be here to shoot past it, and then he would be out of range of the objective, and he's definitely staying on the objective. Because it's his orders, isn't it? Well, he's guarding that barricade, has been the entire time. One plucky little fellow in a tiny, insignificant little death machine. The Primus has navigated the barricade and is intent on messing these guys up. Now, should I fall you back? Because then he can shoot them with his Uber pistol. Yeah, you don't want to be killed by Space Marines. That'd be unhealthy. He's going to back off and the Aberrants going to kill him. The Primus is going to kill him. Okay. So over here... So I have a slight down look at them amongst the trees. They look so happy. Look at that. Oh, la 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 la. Yeah. The dilemma is I could use a smite, and that would do some damage to these guys. The psychic phase now. Or I could do mind control to get one of these guys to attack each other, because it's only 18-inch range, but the warp surge extends it by 6. So they are in range, but realistically it's only going to kill one guy. Because it's only one attack. But I like that. Let's do it. I need a 6 because there's already +1. That's a 9. Do we have Souls of Iron? Should we do Souls of Iron? We should do Souls of Iron. They really wouldn't want to capitulate to that. So on a 4+, it's ignored. It's not ignored. Need to beat his leadership on 3 dice. I'm only holding 2. So that's 5 in total, plus 3 is 8. Not beaten. He withstands. He's just better than that. Simply better. Okay. The Primus is going to shoot these guys. Hitting on 3s. Strength 4. 1 wound. -2. Saving on a 6. No. For 2 damage, which they may shrug. Or shrug 1. It's not enough. 1 dies. Okay, crack missile from the Scout Sentinel. No. So that the sound effects. Right, the guys in the middle, they are all going to turn their fire onto... they can't see the Rhino. They may as well turn their fire onto the Scout. No, they're not going to shoot that close to the Primus. That's just wrong. I know technically they could get line of sight past him, but no, I'm just not going to do it. And they've got no other targets because lines of sight are blocked. Because that's a ruin that blocks line of sight. As is that. Yeah, they're just going to sit pretty. Or they could go back into the shadows. No, they'd abandon the objective if they did that. Which would be bad. So, are we on to the charge phase? I think we are on to the charge phase. Alright, Prime. Really? Is that all the gun? Oh, pistols. Pistols against the Ironclad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 7 more pistols. Cheap. Winning on 6s. No. Right. Charge. Yes. Dink. Charge attack first, which means I need to know his stats. Right, 4 attacks with his Toxin Injector Claw, which hits on 2s. And wounds on 2s. And is -1 AP, so he has 2 saves of 5+. Now, does he shrug him? Shrugs 1. Not enough. And the Scouts are no more. Now, in trying to resist the psychic power, the Marine guy has not left himself enough command points to interrupt with. No, he doesn't need to interrupt. I'm being silly. Because it's now onto the ongoing combats, and it's the Marine player to pick first. So, which do I think I have the greatest chance of doing anything with? It's trying to kill the Aberrants. It is definitely trying to kill the Aberrants with these 4 attacks. Hitting on 3s. 3 hits. Wounding on 2s. 2 wounds. Flat 3 damage each. First one, shrugging on 5s. 2 shrugs and he takes 1 damage. Takes the next hit as well, which he shrugs 2 of and takes 1 damage. Takes the third hit, which he shrugs 2 of and takes 1 damage. You were a legend. Well, not that much of a legend, you're dead now, but while you lasted, whoo-wee! Okay, now we're going to activate the Acolyte Hybrids. There's a lot of paperwork for the Acolyte Hybrids, starting with the Heavy Rock Saw. What of admin? Is this -1 to hit? It is not. 2 hits, wounding on 4s. 2 wounds, -4. No saves. 4? I don't think I wounded with this one last time. That's damage being shrugged on... Is there a stratagem I can use to make that better? There is, but it's versus infantry, so I can't use it. Shrugging on 6s. Shrugs 2 of them is still there with 1 wound remaining. Okay, so now 2 attacks with the Heavy Rock Drill. Okay, hitting on 3s. Wounding on 4s, 1 wound. -3 with the drill, saving on a 6. No, does he ignore it? He doesn't, and that's him. That's game. Well, no, that's him dead. Does he explode? He does. His reactor refusing to capitulate to the xenos filth and blowing out. Oh, there does a single mortal wound now. So I'm saying maybe the drill guy drilled into part of the power core and got a massive electrical shock. So I've taken him off as a casualty. Right, now it's Marine Guy. Marine Guy. Power Fist. Oh yeah, this is it. This turn. Wounding on 2s, yeah. Dodging on 5s. No, die, scum. By which I mean successful. They can move slightly closer to the nearest enemy and make themselves look more impressive at the same time. So the Genestealers died. So far, yes. And last, but by no means least, the Aberrants are hitting on 4s against the Dreadnought. Oh, only 1. Only 1, come here, you. Wounding on a 3. Saving on a 6. No, 3 damage, which... Oh, I've just realised the Ironclad should have been taking less damage each turn from the multi-wound things. But let's be honest, we'd only used 2 of the weapons. There were a whole bunch of other things. It's probably about right that that unit wiped him out. Annoying. Sorry, guys. And then 2 Flesh's Weeks. No, so he's down to 2 wounds. Okay, so there's still some fighting in. So that's the end of Genestealer's turn 4. 1, 2... 2 units destroyed. Alright, what are we going to do with the next turn? Stop thinking ahead, Paul. Right, stop the camera and take the turn as the Iron Hands. Well, that was straightforward. I've only got 6 models left. And I've just realised I could have been firing that multi-melter into combat. No, I couldn't. I haven't had a turn yet. I can. I'm now able to fire that multi-melter into combat. Huzzah and hurrah. Right, what's moved? The Rhino's got closer over here. Done. The Tech Marine, there's nowhere for him to go. He's going to guard the door of that forge. He can't move. They are holding that objective. That is what they need to do. So that's all that can really happen around here. The Rhino is going to fire its Storm Bolter at the cultist and fire its Hunter-Killer Missile at the Primus. So, Storm Bolter at the cultist. We're now in the Assault Doctrine, of course. It's turn 4. 4 hits, running on 3s. 1 wound, 1 save of 5+. No, he dies. That's a unit. The Hunter-Killer Missile. Hits. Wounds on a 2. Wounds. I need to check the rest of its stats. Sorry, I've just come to my senses. There's a vehicle up there. The Hunter-Killer Missile is most definitely firing at the vehicle rather than him. So I rolled to hit, so I'll do the roll to wound against the vehicle. Oh no, it's 2 + 5, so it was wounding on 2s anyway. So that wound was successful. -2 save, so saving on a 6. That's a 4. D6 damage. For 6. Does it explode? Don't know, but it takes it off that objective, and it's a dead unit. 2 dead units. Dead units there are 2. The Tech Marine missed with his bolt pistol. Right, the Dreadnought. 2 shots with a multi-melter. Hitting on 4s because it's a heavy weapon in combat. 1 hits. Wounding on a 3. Doesn't wound. Wow, the jet of heat in the face, and they're just abominable. 1 hit with a combi bolter. Doesn't wound. Okay. Right, Iron Hands charges. Rhino, charge. Fights first. 3 dice, hitting on... Have I done everything else? Yeah. Hits on 6s. No. Right. Now, tragically, the Genestealers get to go next. So they get another pop at the Dreadnought with these hammers hitting on 4s. 1 hit again. Wounding on a 3. Hits. -3. Saving on a 6. No. Flat 3 damage, which he will shrug on 6s. Needs 2 of them. He does not. Does he explode? He doesn't. And the Dreadnought is no more. And that is the end of battle round 4. So, oh God, who killed most units? Well, the Genestealers killed the Scouts and this Dreadnought and t'other Dreadnought. So that's 3 dead. I'm not missing anything, am I? No, 3 dead units. And the Marines killed the Genestealer, the Brood Brother, and the Sentinel. So no one gets that one. Objective-wise, no score draw. So that's 1, 2 for the Iron Hands. 1, 2, because they don't get that anymore, for the Genestealers. So no one gets the table control, the objective one, and no one gets the kills. So the score stays at 2-all as we go into round 5. Oh. Okay, so over here the Acolytes approaching the Tech Marine, intent on mowing him down, well, cutting him down. Over here, the Neophytes coming out of their sanctuary to try and get the Rhino off this objective. The Primus, who did fight back last turn, just didn't do anything. In the forlorn hope of trying to get it off that objective. The Primus moving back closer to that objective, just in case. Those Marines are safe over there. So we are on to the shooting phase. So this unit of hybrids... Oh, I'm going to need a fistful of dice. A bit like a fistful of dollars. Or a few dollars more. Okay, mining laser. 2 shots. Hitting on 5s because they moved. 1 hits. Wounding on a 3. Wounds. Saving on a 6. No. D3 damage. For 3. Shrugging on 6s. No. Right, that's a good start. Not that there's anything much else to go into him. Meaning we're unlikely to take it out. 2 crack grenades. 1 hit. Wounding on a 5. Doesn't wound. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 14. 14 shots. It's a tall order. 1 save to take, which it passes. Mr. Psychic Phase, I do beg your pardon. The Psychic Phase was definitely Smite, which is a super smite. Okay, for d6 damage. For 2. Which it may shrug. It does. One of them at least. Oh yes, the Aberrants just milling around there, told to rip anything apart that tries to go through that T-junction. Right, so we have 9 pistols over there on the Tech Marine. Pretty unlikely to do much against his massively choddy Tech Marine armour with all those reinforced plates that he's personally customised. 3 saves. Yeah, he's good. The armour of Mars holds strong, especially in the shadow of that Martian forge. It's now the charge phase, however. I may as well try and charge over here and overwhelm. How would they really do that, though? I don't think they'd do that. I think they'd stay there. And the idea of just battering at that tank with their hands is daft. But then again, the Primus definitely wants them in between him and it. Yeah, they are going to charge. For the Swarm. For the Star Children. 8. Is 8 enough? So I've already done the pile-in move over here for the sake of my sanity, having to move and balance all these models twice. So that's where that unit ends up. I don't care, they're spread across the barricade from a coherency point of view. It's narrative. And the Acolyte Hybrids have most certainly made it into combat with that Tech Marine. When that is where we are going to start. So we'll start with the Heavy Rock Saw, hitting on 3s twice, wounding on 2s, strength 8. 2 wounds, -2, saves of 4+. No, that's 4 damage. Ignoring on 6s. Ignores 1 of them. He only had 3 wounds left. That's a dead Tech Marine. Okay, 8 attacks against the Rhino, hitting on 4s, but adding 1 because they're close to the Primus. Hitting on 3s. 5 hits, wounding on 6s. No. The Rhino, hitting on 6s. No. So that's the end of Genestealer's turn 5. Okay, Marine's turn 5. Movement. No. See if I can shoot some of these Genestealers. Cultist 1. No. Well, yeah, I've only got 4 models. There's nothing practically I can do to get an objective with that one. They've already got an objective. I can't get to another unit. So that is Iron Hand's turn 5. So at the end of turn 5, the Genestealers killed more units and control 1, 2, 3 objectives because they're obsecking that one to 1. So score 2 points. And at the end of Battle Round 5, the score is Genestealers 4, Iron Hands 2. A victory to the Genestealers. And as the Genestealers start to screech and caw and look skywards for the arrival of the Star Children, they see a strange colour, a strange turn of events in the sky as a malignant purple tear rips across the top of the sky above them as the Great Rift opens. Yes, this planet, unfortunately, lies in the path of the Cicatrix Maledictum at the point it opens. The Genestealers, scared by what they're seeing, not understanding, they sense the psychic might, but they know it isn't the Star Children. They immediately disengage and disappear underground. The remaining Iron Warriors connect to the Noosphere for instructions and discover that the Genestealers have activated some kind of warp device, which is out of character for the for Genestealer Cults and Tyranids. Of course, they don't know this is the Cicatrix Maledictum yet. At the moment, they believe this is the Genestealers. And a heavier assault of the city in order to find the source of the warp taint and destroy it has been ordered. Which will be... So the story of how that assault goes and the story of what happens to the Genestealers underground as they find themselves suddenly in warp space are parts 2 and 3 of this series, respectively. And that is how this episode of the story ends. I hope you enjoyed that. It was lots of fun to film. If you want to watch parts 2 and 3, there'll be one of them will be going up the day after this is released. The other one will be the week later. They'll be for channel members. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, check out the membership options in the link below. There are 2 options. One subscribes to my monthly live streaming, and the other to the battle reports as well as the live streaming. Members get an exclusive battle report each week, every week on a Sunday. Or alternately, if you're looking to support me in other ways, there is also a Patreon link in the description below for anyone who should be interested, who is interested in doing that. I was told to do that by Winters. Well, on that note, I will bid you all adieu, and stay safe, everyone. I shall see you in the next one. Bye for now.